Hello and welcome to the She Who Dares Wins podcast. And my guest this week is Rachel.
Hello.
I think you're the only one that's done a second round so far.
Yeah, man, I'm an old hat.
Yeah. But you don't get to escape from the question. So She Who Dares Wins, tell me how you've dared and won.
Oh, don't do that. I've been driving for 2 hours, Michelle. Why have you sprung that on me? I should have actually thought about this, shouldn't I? How did I dare and win? This is really like cliched, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I became a stonemason at the age of 29 because I was like, I want to do that. I'm going to do it. So I did it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I think we touched on this in the original podcast, but it still intrigues me because there was a pivot point with you, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was an event. Yeah.
Right. Take us a little bit back to the event, and then we'll move on from that and come full circle to now.
We'll quickly brush over the event of me being just a 20-year-old girl who didn't know her own mind and didn't know what I wanted to do because it was, I'm a millennial and I was floundering, went to university, didn't know what I wanted to do, and then worked in shops to pay my rent because that's what you do. You work in a shop on a 0-hour contract to scrape by while you figure out your life, and then decided to become an artist. And then immediately after deciding to become an artist, the universe decided to throw a spanner in the works by running me over with a truck, literally and figuratively. So. Yeah, I got smooshed by a truck and had to go through the recovery process, rehab, so we're learning to walk again and all that nonsense. Can I swear on this?
Yeah,
excellent.
It's totally down for swearing.
Good.
Yeah.
It's very hard to concentrate on not swearing.
So
all of that stuff, just had to learn how to walk again, and then was in recovery and had recovered and was unemployed, which I sometimes refer to as being fun employed because you're just kind of figuring it out a bit.
Yeah.
And it's not often you get the luxury of time to reassess.
Yeah, it's probably, there's not enough, what's the word? Not enough, I suppose, not light shone on the fact that can be a good time to be unemployed.
Yeah, that kind of mid-20s, don't know what you're doing with your life, you haven't quite got that confidence yet.
That's my stomach, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. Are you all right? You want a biscuit?
Just in case everyone thinks that I've farted on the show.
How sensitive are these microphones?
So you took some time off.
Yeah.
But was the accident, was it one of those near-death experiences that did really shape you going, shit?
Yeah, do you know what? I hate one of those things where I don't like cliches. I'm allergic to sob stories, and I can hear myself talking, and the voice in my head is going, "Oh, bore off." But yeah, it was. I did genuinely nearly die. It was bad. There was a hot minute where they thought I was dead, and then I wasn't. So, and then it was, well, you're never going to walk again, and then I did. And it was kind of that process of figuring out, you don't realize until you're in that situation how, the NHS is amazing.
Yeah.
The medical staff I've never seen anything like it. Wow. Incredible, on it. And yeah, you have those kind of that time where you're am I going to be okay? Am I not? Am I going to die? Okay, I'm not going to die, but am I going to walk? Okay, I probably am going to walk, but it might be hard. And you kind of go through all those little hurdles.
And in your 20s, that's hard.
Yeah, man, yeah. Because I was relatively, I was going out dancing and doing stuff. I was quite active. I was quite physically, I did a lot of rock climbing. So I was quite physically quite fit. So to have that taken away in one go, to going from being able to go out dancing all night, rock climbing all day, to oh, I want to walk over there, but I can't.
Yeah.
My brain is telling my legs to do a thing and you're I can't do the thing.
Yeah.
And to have that power that you take for granted, that thing that just happens naturally, suddenly it gets taken away. It's this sense of not being in control in a way that you just can't really explain. That lack of control and not being in control of your own body, and that feeling that almost your body has betrayed you, my own body is betraying me.
That's interesting you say that because another guest that's been on, why is my brain now not deciding to work? Surfer, it will come to mind. But she had a car accident, and she felt the same betrayal that her body wasn't working in the same way, which is quite interesting, isn't it? The mind is saying one thing, but obviously had zero control over what's happened.
Yeah. And having to like rely on other people is weird in a way that like you've never had to. I'm one of those like fiercely hyper independent people where I hate asking for help. I cannot do it. Like I physically, like there's like a block. Like I cannot ask for help, or I cannot admit that I need someone. Like I find that really hard even now. So having to be like, I've got an itch on my foot. Please can someone itch my foot? Or I'm cold. Please can someone grab me a blanket? Or I'm thirsty. Like, you know, you can't actually, and I had a broken arm at the same time. When I was actually in hospital, not like the recovery afterwards, but when I was in hospital, I was like, could not move. Like couldn't like pick up a mug with this arm or couldn't. So you were very much like, excuse me, I'm thirsty. Like
literally going back to like being a baby as such. Where...
And so like going back to that, you just feel gross.
Yeah.
You feel yucky. You feel like a burden almost, which is something, I don't know if people talk about that a lot, but you do. I suddenly felt like, oh my God, I'm such a burden.
Wow.
I'm so like needy. Like this is horrible.
Yeah. Someone's so independent and it's just taken away from you.
Yeah.
So post-recovery, you then you decided to do an apprenticeship, didn't you?
Yes.
And become a stonemason.
Yeah.
Is stonemason, that's the official...
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's the official
my
term.
job, yeah.
And you've had this like incredible career at Lincoln Cathedral.
Yeah.
I remember coming to see you. We shot a film which is on YouTube if people want to go and watch
That's
it.
amazing, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Like, I love that film. Like,
We've just done another one with a fisher woman.
I think I follow her on Instagram.
Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I want to do more of these because it runs nicely along with the show. But I just loved like being in the workshop with you, seeing what you do. Like it's so hands-on, but it's so artistic. And it's a slow process.
Yeah, it's a nice process. It's tactile. So I don't know if there's like craft is so unique, like from like stonemasonry or like sewing or anything like that. You are so hands-on and involved in an object and like in a process in a way that like maybe a lot of professions aren't. So to have that kind of interaction with your job in a very like hands-on tactile way is very like, it's very nice. But then also like it's slow as well. Like I could be in the workshop carving the same stone for like days and days and days. Mm-hmm. And we have this discussion in the workshop all the time that you can tell if you get like a trainee or someone on like work experience who's kind of trying their hand, see if they like it, you can tell almost immediately if they've got it or not because they need to have good tool skills, because that can be taught. All of the skills can be taught, but what can't be taught is you have to be comfortable with boredom.
Ooh.
You have to be comfortable being bored.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I bet that wouldn't be put on a job description for a stonemason, or maybe it would.
I don't know if it is. Like, yeah, like you can teach it. People are just like, oh, it's so creative and artistic. Oh, it's so like, but you can learn it. It's a skill. It's like any other skill. Like you can learn to be an electrician. You can learn to be a plumber. You can learn to be a stonemason. They're like learned skills. But what you can't learn is like that you are stood in a workshop for 8 hours, probably with headphones on, staring at a rock for 8 hours, and you've got to be the kind of person that has got that kind of mindset of like, this is what I'm doing for 8 hours and that's fine. And when you are learning, you'll get bored because it's not muscle memory yet. So,
I remember you saying like you literally just you just like flattening a stone, or when you learn you just
when you start you're just making flat surfaces, because all stonemasonry is flat surfaces. Even the round surfaces are just lots of flat surfaces. So for an apprentice you'll just work a flat surface, and it might take you a week in the first instance, and then now someone like me will go up to our apprentice and be like, that's a really good flat surface, do it again, and just do a line an inch lower, do it again, and then you'll spend days and days and days making that flat, and you'll be like, cool, do it again. And you just keep doing it again until we break them. No, we don't. But like you can tell almost immediately, like, oh, okay, this person is like, they've got it, because they can just crack on. Right. They're not like every 5 minutes looking around the room or like looking on their phone. And like you can tell, and some people can just get on.
I would be the worst because someone that I'm pretty sure I've got ADHD would be like, oh, what's that? What's that? So it's definitely, it's a mindset then, but I think it's fantastic that visually you can see what you're creating. Like I know you follow certain patterns, or you might copy something.
Yeah.
But like you must be able to see what you're doing in the stone.
I'm quite lucky. I didn't know until recently that some people can't visualize stuff in their heads. Did you know this? This is a thing.
Oh, wow.
Apparently some people can like see pictures in their heads and some people can't.
What?
I had
did
this
not
whole
know
conversation with my mum because she found out recently because she can't see pictures in her head, and it blew her mind that other people, and we like, and there's been, you can Google it, seriously.
that. Oh, wow.
It's like a split, and the people that do don't realize that there are people that can't, and vice versa.
So for example, visually, if you walked into a room, you could see, where you'd put furniture.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, I'm going to put a sofa there. I'm
Yeah.
going to, if I look at a stone, I can imagine, like, oh, it's going to look like that when it's done.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm quite lucky that I can do that. I think, like, there are some people who can and some people who can't.
That's bizarre, isn't it? But I suppose it's probably, that would maybe put people in the creative world and people not, I don't know, can a creative person be someone that doesn't visualise?
I don't know.
Ooh,
Interesting.
that is interesting.
Yeah, quick, do some science.
Yeah. We need the AI to feed this. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. So boredom,
Yeah.
but that's, probably on the list of things that you need to be. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
like a way more that comes ahead of
But
that.
the boredom goes away quite, like, once you kind of, the boredom is there in the beginning because you're like doing the same thing over and over again, and there's obviously still a part of your brain that's having to think about it because it's new, it's not become muscle memory.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of speed up, once you get better and it becomes muscle memory and you can just see a stone and know how to do it, you can just switch the boredom off. And then you end up just like listening to podcasts and and you don't have to concentrate in the same way. If that makes sense?
Yeah. Is it? And you've got a fantastic team at the cathedral. haven't you?
Yeah.
You get on so well
We're
with
so
everyone.
lucky, yeah.
But is it quite can it be quite lonesome at times, or is that quite nice?
Yeah, at the moment I'm doing the setting out, so the template making, and that's quite mentally draining because it's just like it's geometry and maths all day for 8 hours. So you're always thinking. So I can't have any music on or anything. Like I just need to let my brain work. But that's quite tiring. And then there'll be another aspect of the job where we'll be on site. At the moment, we'll be starting to chop out and repoint, which is incredibly boring because you are just staring at a wall for 8 hours a day, just hoying mortar in. But that after setting out for so long, spending months like using my brain and being confused most of the time, it's nice to just stare at a wall for a few days or a few weeks and just have a podcast on or an audio book, and you're like, and then your brain gets to relax, and then you get to a point where I'm like, okay, I've done this enough now. I need to do like something physical, and then you'll go back in the workshop, which even though you'll be in a workshop full of people, that's quite a lonely, kind of isolating aspect because we have our headphones on, we have extractors, which are quite noisy, or people might use air tools. So you have to have ear defenders on, so you make yourself in a little bubble, so you're tippy-tapping away in your bubble in the workshop.
Oh, okay, so you've got to protect the ears, so therefore you can't be chatting or...
Yeah, so you kind of like bubble up, get through some audiobooks, carve a load of stones, and that's really nice. Nice to be in there in the winter and just be cozy carving stone. But then, like, on the flip side to that, there'll be a period of time where we're outside on the scaffold building, doing the fixing, and that's mostly you're in a team, you're with 2 or 3 people in a group, and you're just spending all day, every day, working on one structure with 1 or 2 people. So that's actually, you get to know these people very well.
Right, okay.
Because even in like an office environment, you're not actively working on the same job with someone.
And in an area where you might be up scaffolding or in like a really cool place within the cathedral, you're not kind of sat around a boardroom.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Cool.
So you're kind of focusing in on one project, but with another person. So you're spending all day with that person. So you get to know each other really well. So you have that like camaraderie. So there's like aspects of it. It kind of covers the whole spectrum.
And what does doing it, like, what's the biggest enjoyment you get from the job?
Do you know, I like making things. That's a rubbish answer.
No, it's not.
It's like nice to, like the making of the thing is great, but when you finish the thing and you step back and look at it and you're like, I made that thing.
And that thing's going to be part of history. Because
and I get to stick that thing on that big thing. Yeah. And then it gets to be there forever. And like you're walking around the cathedral and I can see things that I did like 5 years ago and see how it's like weathering and how it's like blending in with the rest of the building. And you're like, I did that 5 years ago. It's still there. That's cool.
And tell us about, because I loved this, that each stonemason has their own unique mark.
Yeah, we still have mason's marks. We call them banker marks because the workbench that a mason works at is called a banker. and the workshop's a banker shop. I think it comes from the French.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't speak French. Yeah, we all have our own mason's mark, which like historically, the masons would mark each stone that they worked because they were paid per stone. So the head mason could come along at the end of the week or the month and be like, oh, Johnny Mason has done 10 stones, pay him for 10 stones.
Oh, a bit like bricklayer. So a bricklayer, if they got paid per brick.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the way that they used to count it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it was also a bit like quality control. So if you're putting your name on something, you better make sure that's the best bit of work you can do. Because if you're carving it in the banker shop and it gets to site and the fixer mason is fixing it and it doesn't fit, they know exactly who carved it and they can come back and have you. So it's like that quality control as well. But yeah, we still carry on that tradition, especially in the cathedral world. Like we like to carry on the tradition of having our own mason's marks, and every stone I carve has my mark on it, not on the face so you can't see it. It's like hidden in the joint or in the back.
And what's your mark? What's it stand for?
Mine is a witch's hat.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just a little triangle, witch's hat. The guys in the workshop say it looks like a traffic cone, so they like to tell people that visit our workshop that it's a traffic cone because I've got ginger hair. Which is nice.
Oh, I love the banter that goes with that. But is that like on a national record?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is there anyone else with the same one as you, or will you never know?
I don't know. I may never know. Yeah, not
okay.
at my, because people go all over the world and they see like cathedrals and they say, oh well, I saw this mason's mark in Germany and I saw this one in Scotland. Must be the same mason. And you're like, well, there's only so many shapes you can make with a few straight lines, isn't there? Like they're generally just straight lines because you just bosh them in. And it doesn't really matter if someone in Germany has the same mark as me. I'm not working there. I'm working here.
Yeah. So if that ever came in history, like you'd be known for being in Lincoln and doing your work there.
Yeah, it's got to be kind of unique to your workshop, really.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's no like record, I guess. Maybe someone has somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that though, is there anywhere, because you're at the cathedral, is there anywhere in the world or any particular building that you would love to have some work, be able to work on?
Ooh, it would have been nice to have gone over to Notre Dame.
Okay.
But then in the same way, it would have been nice to go over to Gedalon, which is the big castle, like the kind of big archaeology? Yeah, it's practical archaeology, isn't it? Yeah. The big castle in France that they're building with all original medieval techniques. And if you don't follow them on Instagram, you should, because it's amazing.
Okay.
They all dress medieval, they work medieval. They've been doing it. They must have been doing it for 20 years now. And it's a full-size castle.
Wow.
With all of like authentic medieval techniques. It's really cool. But yeah, you can sometimes go over there and do like stints working. But when I actually looked online and thought, I'll just go over for 6 months, I'll have a look. But there was a thing that said you have to be fluent in French because it's still an active building site. So I guess if there's an accident, you've got to call an ambulance. You have to communicate to the emergency services like, I don't speak French. I can't say Johnny Mason just cut his leg off in French. So,
but there is now Meta glasses, or I think the new iPad in ears, where you talk and it translates for you.
there isn't that.
Yeah, so I feel like you could pitch that to them and just be like,
Interesting.
there's a solution here.
I just make them look a bit medieval.
Yeah. Outside of your work, though, you've got a huge interest in like history, and you go to, like you said, you go to Goodwood. What era are you interested in? Because I think there'll be people out there you've kind of been able to make your hobby into your working world as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm dead lucky that the job that I do is on a medieval building, and I just happen to be mad into history. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, that's just quite a lucky thing that happened. I love old stuff, man. It's got memories.
Where's it come from? Was it like when you were a kid reading certain things, or?
There's kind of two like areas of history. I don't know how interesting this is to anyone else, but like there's two kind of areas of history that I'm kind of like fixated on, and that is the kind of the 20s, 30s, 40s, and then like medieval, but like kind of Saxon to medieval.
Oh, okay,
and
right.
I think that came from the Saxony medieval stuff, I guess probably came from my dad, because he was really into those like epic films and all that like Knights Templar stuff, or like we'd read Bernard Cornwell books.
Right, okay,
so from like quite a young age, like in my early teens, my dad was having me like reading all the Bernard Cornwell books. So like Last Kingdom and like the Warlord Chronicles and like the Stonehenge and that kind of thing. And we went to Stonehenge when I was a young kid, and like all this kind of history stuff. So I was kind of always into that, like old history. But then I guess like the 40s stuff, is from my gran, who used to be a wardrobe mistress for a local kind of Amdram group. And she had, this is the coolest thing, right? She had one of those 1990s video libraries. Do you remember those?
What, like
you know, where people would like record stuff off the telly and then like put them in videotape cases that look like leather books.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then
yeah,
they'd have like
yeah.
a whole like rack, like shelving rack
Yeah.
with these like fake leather books, and then like a little catalogue because they were all numbered, so you could
Wow.
like
She was on it.
But every single video in this video library was a Hollywood movie musical from like 1930 to 1950.
Okay, so that was her thing.
That was her thing. And me, because my parents worked full time, me and my brother would go to my grand's for tea after school. So they would pick us up from school and I'd spend like my after school time there. And I was pretty sure until I was like in my mid-teens, I thought these were the only films that existed. Like I didn't know there were any other films. Like just watching like Doris Day or like Fred Astaire or like Howard Keel, like dancing and singing. And I was like, oh, these are the only films. So
that's where it kind of comes
when I like
from.
got older and realized there was like a 1940s reenacting scene and you could buy those clothes and like there are people that do that. I want to do that. So I got mad into that.
Yeah, and there's a huge community around that. Like I see when you post that there's lots of people that show up for those events, and there's a real love for, like, I guess, bringing that back and reliving it. What's some of the best like places that you've been, you know, events or whatever in the UK that do that?
Oh, in the UK, well, Goodwood Revival is the one. For
Right,
me, it's
okay.
the fashion and the music.
Okay.
There's a lot of it's very much vintage. What is it? Vintage style, not vintage values.
Right. Okay.
So not into the kind of vintage values and
Right.
the
Okay.
ethos of the time.
Yeah.
That's not good
So you're
because
not chained to the kitchen sink.
it
or-
very much annoys me when I'm in like an original 1940s get up and people come up to me and say, "Oh, it's when women were women," and I just want to punch them in the neck, like things like that.
Right. So
it's-
they misconstrue that as you.
yeah, it's kind of gets misconstrued with almost like a bit of a trad wife kind of vibe, like bring back the 1940s when women would stay at home and like knew their place. It's like that Harry Enfield sketch, isn't it? Women know your place.
Yeah.
But so yeah, vintage style, not vintage values. So I like the fashion and I like the aesthetic and I like the music a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, not really into the
No, yeah.
yeah, that stuff. But yeah, it's a Goodwood Revival is amazing.
Right. Okay.
It's like immersive.
Okay.
It's not just the racing, and everyone really goes to town on the fashion. And there's like
And there's the cars, obviously.
Yeah.
You've got an old.
I've got a Jeep, mate.
Sorry, when you broke it down online, I was like,
Oh,
it's
God.
so cool. So cool. What is it? Is it a.
I've got a 1944 Willys Jeep
Oh my god.
with the canopy and the trailer, the full shebang, and I love it. And she's called Dottie, and she's my child.
Where did you find her?
Oh, you can just get them. You can just get them. Do you want one?
Can you just get
buy it?
them?
No. So my, I'm very lucky that I've got a friend that imports like American barn finds and does them up, gets them running, and sells them. So like from like Chevy pickups to like military jeeps. Like
I need
so.
an F1, an F. 150. No, yeah, a Ford F150.
okay.
Bit not quite that era.
I'll
bit-
put you in touch with my
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah,
my
for
car guy.
sure. Yeah, because there are loads of those cars in America that are just in barns, rotting,
Yeah.
and yeah, you don't see many on the UK road. So is it left-hand drive, right-hand drive? Yeah.
It's wrong-hand drive.
Wrong-hand drive.
Yeah, left-hand drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just left-hand drive; it's double clutch.
What's a double clutch?
Like, there's no, oh God, I'm going to explain this.
Okay.
And someone is going to comment and be like, actually, I'm a mechanic. But this is the way it was explained to me, and this is how I figured it out. There's
Okay.
no, I think it's called a synchromesh, but there's no, yeah, between first and second, you kind of have to go like, you can't just bosh it straight from gear to gear.
Right.
In the beginning, you've got
Okay.
to like get it's hard to explain without doing it, but it's getting revs up, getting it into first, getting revs up, getting into neutral, and then getting it
Right.
back into second. So it's like a double clutch situation, and it's only got like 3 gears anyway.
So do you take this predominantly to events?
Not really. It's just like,
Oh, it's just you.
yeah, because I don't do military events. I'm not into military stuff. That's
Okay.
not my vibe, even though I've got a Jeep. But the Jeep
Right.
is like it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like MASH. Like it's fun, like it's impossible to not be happy driving a 1940s like open top Jeep with no doors and no windows. Like you just bezz around in it. And we're lucky that we've got friends that like are into classic vehicles or into like, you know, wearing vintage clothing. So we're just those knobbers that dress in dead people's clothes and go and pick my mates up and go out and have a picnic and cause havoc bezzing around in a Jeep.
Not at all. You're the cool people. Where do you get the outfits from? Do you have to make them? Or, again, is there a market for that?
That's like
now?
a whole separate thing. I mean, like so for like mid-century fashion, there are collectors and there are dealers. I mean, on Sunday, so 2 days ago, I drove for 7 hours, 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours back to get 2 1930s dresses from a dealer.
Wow.
In Bridgnorth. So there are a handful of dealers in this country that specialise in kind of early mid-century fashion, so 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
It's getting really hard to get that stuff because it's starting to become antique. So you have a lot of like, I guess, films and TV shows that buy it up and then put it in their warehouses forever.
And expensive, I guess, too.
Yeah, you've got to really want to collect that stuff.
Yeah.
It can be very expensive. And then within that, like there are niches as well. So it's not just like, oh, I buy 1940s clothing, because there are specific things that I look for. So like I was telling you earlier, like American Western wear, like Americana, that like rodeo suits and the chain stitch shirts from like the 30s to 50s are that's a niche. There are people that purely collect that kind of stuff, but then there are people who collect novelty prints. Novelty print skirts and novelty print rayons were quite big in the 40s. And some of those, depending on the print, go for a lot of money.
Right, okay, so kind of be recognisable for that era, the more popular, or I guess...
Yeah, there's like an infamous spider web dress that was like, I think it was like, I don't know, like what's like, in New York, there was a really famous department store. It's like a catalogue. Anyway, there's a famous like spider web print rayon that was made into like dresses that was quite cheap at the time, but are now quite collectible, and they can go for like over £1,000 for like a dress that's full of moth holes just because of the print.
Just because of the print.
Yeah.
I suppose like anything, when something dies out, it becomes more valuable.
Yeah, that's it.
And that world then, and then the job that you do, and Lincoln Cathedral has quite a few films that are made there.
Yeah.
Has that ever kind of intertwined? Like, have you ever...
No, sadly not. No. They do.
Because there's been some hard-hitting, like, big films, hasn't there? What's been filmed at Lincoln?
Most recently, what was recent? Napoleon, Ridley Scott.
Oh, yeah.
He was there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big
that
one.
was wild to be working there when that was happening, because they basically shut down Lincoln.
Oh, did they? The whole, like, it wasn't just
like,
the cathedral?
Uphill, like, you couldn't get around the cathedral. It was insane. And it was quite interesting for me to be there, like, from my perspective, like, being into the history, because they stripped the entire nave of anything that was modern. So, like, the main body of the cathedral, where there are lights, like big electric, like chandeliers, and they had to get the electricians to completely remove all the electrics.
Jeez, that ain't
And
cheap,
remove all
is
the furniture. And, like, anything that wasn't, like... you know, I guess pre-18th century, yeah. And it hasn't looked like that forever.
Wow.
Like, it's just since it was that time, since it was like pre-18th century, it hasn't looked like that in there. So then to spend weeks and weeks and spend all that money to strip everything out and get it looking exactly how it would have looked then was really cool for us to just walk through it.
So you go back in time almost.
Yeah, and to like experience it like that.
Who was in that? Was it Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix was there. Yeah. Didn't meet him. Didn't see him.
I was going to say, do you not get exclusive access?
No, we weren't allowed in. we had to hide in the workshops.
I'd be like in the background going, I need to fix something.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I did have to fix a slab because they had some telehandlers in there.
Okay, damage.
Yeah, slap wrists, yeah.
Yeah, big insurance.
Yeah.
And since I came to see you and we shot that film, what have you been up to? I know you're at uni now.
Yeah, I'm at uni now. I was at uni this morning.
What's brought the uni on?
Do you know what? Like, the first time I went to university, God, that's such a knobby thing to say, isn't it? Like, the first time I went to university. But like,
My husband's never left, so it's not.
Okay. Yeah, like when I was like leaving, I left school, did my A-levels, went to university because you kind of told, well, you've got A-levels, so you have to go to university, so go and get into debt and do a thing that you don't even know you want to do.
Yeah.
You know? Didn't enjoy it, didn't like it, didn't really like leaving home, probably wasn't ready.
What did you study?
Fine art.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you don't know what you want to do, you do colouring in. So I did fine art in Leeds, and I mean, it was fun. It was a good thing to do, I guess. Probably shouldn't have, because I got into loads of debt and left with an okay-ish degree that I didn't really enjoy. It was just homework.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it, really. Didn't enjoy it. It was one of those things where they're like, you can do it, so you should do it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate for the fact that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do that thing.
Yeah, I did the same geography, and then I'm like, I don't
like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then obviously retrained as a stonemason. And part of our training, so when you do an apprenticeship in a cathedral, you are often given the opportunity, after you've completed all your MVQs and you've done your kind of traditional apprenticeship, you're given the opportunity to do a foundation degree in, it's got a really long title. It's Historic Building Conservation and Repair.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, which is cool. You get to visit a bunch of other cathedral workshops. It's more of a practical degree. And because I'd found this job that I loved, I was then kind of able to do the degree and really make the most of it and really enjoy it in a way that I didn't have with my first degree.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Anyone that goes back into education at a later age has much more of an appreciation for it.
Yeah, I loved it. It was the most fun, and because I enjoyed it, it didn't feel like work and it didn't feel like homework. And I got quite a good grade and was all of a sudden it clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, I enjoy it. That means I can do it.
Yeah.
So when I finished that, I was like, well, I'm just going to keep going to see what happened, because it never would have occurred to me that I could have done a master's, and now I am about to start doing my dissertation for my master's.
Wow.
So I'm kind of over halfway through.
Nice.
And really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think there is something said to like say doing education a bit later in life and finding, so it's almost, we do it backwards, don't we? We're forced into something, and then we get into, some people get into their 30s and 40s and go, oh shit, I didn't really want to be here.
Right.
Rather than go and get life experience.
And then you've got a mortgage and a family and stuff, and you can't just say, hey, I'm just going to stop life and start again.
Well, I did, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's hard, man.
It is hard. Yeah, it's hard because you feel like you're stripping all your identity, and I feel like I'm starting again, even though the reality is you've got a lot of skill sets from whatever it is that you did previously that get you to this point.
Yeah.
But it is like you build up. I think what it is you tick boxes and then you build up this lifestyle, and I think that is hard to leave.
Yeah.
I think if I would say to someone now, just be careful what you do and what you build, and allow yourself the freedom to draw it back in.
Yeah.
Because if you go get the expensive car, the expensive house, like all the trappings,
if you get
it's
locked
so
in,
hard.
you can't just walk away from that. Yeah.
Right, tomorrow I'm going to earn nothing.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah, it is almost a process of chipping that back away to come back to a point where, or taking a big leap, which most people have to do.
Yeah, because there's almost like that sense of shame, like, oh, well, I failed because I've had to start again.
Yeah, and that is something I think that's something I went through of like, oh, like I'm no longer an engineer, and that was my kind of like thing. Yeah, there is that. It's like
that twinge of like, wow, how do I explain this to people? People are going to think I've failed.
Yeah.
And that's why I've had to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And I've had to give stuff up.
But the reality is, on the flip side, is you look at the other side. I don't want to say other people, because that sounds really like, oh, you look at other people and you think, oh. But yeah, when you come over that line, even though it's so hard and you do feel like a beginner, it's so much better.
Yeah,
like definitely. Why can't we restart every 10? And I think I'm seeing it more and more with women. I think maybe there's that social expectation of like, you get a career and you go, and maybe with guys as well, but so many people feel shoehorned into certain situations.
Yeah, like quick get married, quick have a kid.
Yeah.
Like time is running out. Like all the way through your 20s, they're like, you're going to turn 30, and then you'll be redundant. And then you turn 30, and all the way through your 30s, they're like, you're going to turn 40, and then you'll be redundant.
Yeah.
And then you get to 40, and people are like, I'm nearly 40. I'm like a few years off, being like, yeah. And then I imagine I'm going to turn 40, and people are going to be like, well, you're going to turn 50.
Yeah. Well, 40 is different because you hit like perimenopause and you're like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. And it's kind of like nice but not nice because you're in this. Yeah, I was shitting myself about becoming 40, and now that I'm 41 now, I think it's the fuck it era from so many women that I speak to.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I can't wait.
Yeah,
It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
yeah.
just
I
get
can't wait
into
to
it.
care less.
Yeah. Do you think that if you hadn't have found your job and things hadn't gone the route, that you would be in a bit of a pickle now and be in a job that you perhaps hated? Or do you think you've got quite a strong
I don't know. I don't like thinking about
initiative to?
I think if I hadn't have found this job, I would either just be stuck in an awful job and be miserable.
Yeah.
But I had to have something. Like I am quite independent, and I am annoyingly ambitious. So even if I was stuck in a job that I didn't like, I would have found an outlet to do something.
Yeah.
Like whether that was because I was buying and selling vintage clothing a bit and doing fairs. I started putting on a few gigs for a while. There was a hot minute where I brought a few bands over from like rockabilly bands over from Europe and started like putting on rockabilly gigs. So I think I would have found an outlet to like get that ambition out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's next for you?
I'm gonna smash out my masters.
Yeah, of course, that's such a big thing. I'm like, what else? Come on, Rachel, you've done so much.
People are like, a load of people have asked me recently if I'm going to do a PhD, and my response to that has been, if I so much as mention doing a PhD, I want you all to throw a shoe at me. Don't let me do it. Do not let me. Remind me how stressed I am now. Do not let me even talk about doing a PhD, because oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
that'll be the end of me.
It's for someone who sat on the other side of the PhD and supported a partner through it. It's hard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a slog.
I mean, like, I don't want to freak you out, but every single person I know who has done a PhD has got divorced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every single one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Is that later in life?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think it's because you literally so Tom did his as soon as we'd finished uni, which I was kind of grateful for because I was off like working, and then I went to film school, so I was kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But at times it was frustrating on the fact that I was earning and he wasn't. And, you know, when you actually look at the work they do and, you know, everyone's going to clear me now like, what the fuck are you saying about PhD? But there's a lot of downtime and a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
And it can be misconstrued.
Reading.
Yeah, it can be misconstrued as absolutely fuck all.
Why are you writing a thesis on the life cycle of a stickleback? And I'm out working, paying the bills. Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's 3 that can lead into 4, sometimes 5 years.
Oh yeah, it takes, and like, you know, I work, I have a job. I'm not going to do it quickly. If I was going to do a PhD, it wouldn't be like a couple of years. It would take a while.
And if you're not going into education and you don't need
I don't need it, mate. I'm building cathedrals. I don't need to have a PhD.
Yeah, you don't need proof that
I can
you
do
can
it.
that.
Yeah. I mean, the masters was just like a fun thing to do, and it is a fun thing to do, and I'm loving it. And it is actually this master's degree I'm doing in historic buildings, which is like it's an archaeology based degree, is going to be so helpful for my career progression. So it does give me like a wider context for like conservation project management and that kind of thing. So like I can see how that would help me in my career.
Yeah.
I don't think a PhD would be for me.
And is there a hierarchy within your job? So like, is there like head stonemason?
Oh yeah, there's a whole like, there's a, you know, team leaders and head masons and stuff like that.
So is that like, do you have to wait for someone to die before you?
It's really sinister.
Yeah. Like,
just like, just eyeballing my boss through his window, like, coming for you.
You may fall off some
No,
stuff
I don't want his job. I tell him all the time, I don't want his job. I don't want to be responsible for that bunch of knobbers that I work with. Oh my God. I don't want to have to be responsible for them.
Because when you get to that position, does it take you off the stonework?
That's the thing, yeah. Like when you start getting into like management roles, you're in a management role.
Yeah.
So you're not carving stone. And I love being on site. I love making things. I love drawing. I love carving. So I would like to do that for as long as possible. For as long as my body will let me do that, I would like to do that. So I have no ambition. Don't worry, Mike. I've got no ambition to become like a manager. Yeah.
And you've had quite a bit of interest from, I guess, press and was it Time Team you had? No, I've thrown that out there.
I'd love to. Though.
You've done stuff with
Tony
like the BBC though, and
I did Woman's Hour, and I was on BBC Breakfast News, which was a surprise.
Oh, that wasn't so long ago, was it?
Yeah.
did that come about?
That was, well, the local BBC News Look North asked to do like a piece just on me, because I do the Instagram thing. So kind of my work is out there, so you can like find it. So obviously, they were like, can we come and do a thing on your work? And I was like, yeah, and it was really fun. And the people who did the filming were great, and we had a great time, and it was aired on Look North, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, look at little old me on the telly on Look North on like regional news. And then unknown to me, the national breakfast news, like the kind of the Sunday morning or Saturday morning or whatever, like BBC 1, 9 a.m. national news, took that piece from the regional news and aired it.
Nice.
And I didn't know, and I was at the gym, and then all of a sudden my phone started ringing, and it was like my mum and like my mum's neighbour and like an auntie. They were just like, I'm having my breakfast and you're on the news.
Oh, amazing. I think that's quite nice, isn't it? Because you're getting to, most people wouldn't really know about the work that you do. People would be going into the cathedral and not really thinking about it.
That's kind of why I started doing the Instagram thing, like, because I wanted to kind of almost blog my training. So I wanted to, when I'm an old lady, I wanted to look back at like my training, and I didn't know I would have a job at the end of it. I had a 3-year apprenticeship, and then I might have just been sacked off after that. So I thought, well, it'd be a nice record of this experience, and then if it doesn't go any further, at least I've got it. It's like a kind of, and it's like a portfolio. So if I did want to get a job, I can be like, well, on my Instagram, here's all my work. And then luckily they kept me, and now they can't get rid of me. But then it kind of morphed into a whole thing of like, well, actually, no one knows that this is what happens. Like every cathedral needs work doing, and they've all got stonemasons. So it's quite nice to have the opportunity to like raise awareness of heritage crafts. And like, if there are some teenagers that see my Instagram, or especially like if there are some young girls who see my Instagram and don't know that that's a job, and then they see it and they see that as an option, then that's brilliant. That's what I want. I want people to see that work and think, well, I'm going to do that instead. Like,
it comes back to the classic when you go into the careers like thing at school, and they're like, there's about 7 jobs that you can do, and you're like,
do you want to be a teacher or an accountant?
Well, I think your story is fascinating, and I love watching what you do online, because it is another world, but you bring so much enthusiasm to it, and you are so invested in what you do, and that really comes across.
Oh, I love it, mate.
Yeah, it's
annoying,
epic.
Isn't it? Imagine.
No, it's not. It's so epic.
Imagine being around someone that like loves their job.
We need more of it. People would be so much happier if they could find that.
Yeah, I'd love that for everyone. If you could find a job that you're passionate about, and
Yeah, let me check, see what we're doing on time, but we're good. We're doing a nice 40 minutes there. Nice. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. You're incredible.
Thanks for having me again.
You're
See you in another 2 years.
Yeah, this is going to be a yearly revival.
Yeah, when I'm halfway through a PhD and I'm like ripping my hair out, and you're like, you said.